Jamaica, me nah sell out. Them try clip we wings, somehow we can't fly out. But when we there yard, nothing nice like Jamaica. Roast breadfruit and banana. Under the tree with a glass of lemonade. Jumping at the river when me ready for paid. No boy can't buy me out. Me no foreign minded, no way compared to Jamaica. Jamaica love, we wanna feel Jamaica love. Everybody wanna visit Jamaica. Jamaica love, Jamaica. Jamaica love, we wanna see Jamaica love. The one that represent the citizens of Jamaica. Jamaica love, Jamaica.
Morning, my people. Father Paul here. Well, I have some good news. I got word this morning that all is well with my mom. You know, yeah, that's a good piece of news. You know, still feel it for all the people who, you know, going through this aftermath of Melissa, and of course, yes, with any massive disaster like this, we're beginning to see the death toll. It would have been a miracle if lives were not lost. You know, nothing like this happens and just happens, you know. There are always going to be, there's most times, you know, 9 out of 10 times there's going to be loss of life. I also heard earlier this week that there were 3 Melissa babies, you know, babies born in the midst of something as devastating as this. Anyway, we give thanks, you know, and our condolences to those who are suffering loss, whether it be human lives lost, property, you know, health. Some things we can work our way back from. Some things will take more than just good wishes, you know. Some things will require time. Which brings me to this Mark Golding fellow. And his thoughts and prayers business that he's offering, and his call for unity. I want to hold him to this, you know, to this unity thing where him a spout, because his behavior and the behavior of his surrogates in the parliament will be important. And like we said, they don't have no ability to manage anything. So what they need to do is look out for their constituents in a genuine way, right? And not be trying to fan the flames of disgruntled behavior. Because we know that their minions are still up in their feelings of having lost. Some of them declare gloom and doom on Jamaica because they didn't win. And some of them started with this foolish behavior, like they'd rather burn it to the ground than have anybody else be in charge. So Or they bring their people in line and they work with the program and they look to accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative. We don't have no time for this other foolishness that they're keeping up. 5 years time before we start talking about that again. Nevertheless, we on this side will be working towards a fourth term. Make no mistake about that. People need to also realize that, you see, when you hit rock bottom, which is where Black River and places in St. Elizabeth and other places in Westmoreland and Hanover, St. James have hit. When you hit rock bottom, the only place to go is up. There's no lower to go. So I'm looking forward to the renewal. There are many structures that needed to be replaced. And just reasoning with people and asking people to, give us a chance to move things because of the inherent dangers wasn't enough. Well, Melissa come and start the process. Part of the plans was to build out Jamaica, so that Jamaica is not just about Kingston and Montego Bay and Ocho Rios, but that every parish have its own engine of economic growth. Well, many of the western parishes were caught in that time warp of old and broken down. Let us use this opportunity to build back better and stronger. Renew these places. Yeah. Have several more Kingston and Moby and Ochi. I saw the UN report on the preparations. I shared that video. And as we can see, the UN basically has given us excellent marks for preparation. We did as much as we could. And people need to stop behave like, say, is Andrew do this? Or the JLP do this? Nobody would do this to themselves. It's a natural disaster. That's why it's called a disaster. And it's natural. Nobody had a hand in it. Well, as far as we know. Because you hear the conspiracy theorists, them, ramp up them thing. And listen, we don't know everything that's going on in this world, That's the honest truth. We believe some things because that's what them teach we to believe. And some of the things they have taught us we can be skeptical about. Some of the things that we believe are naturally occurring, that may or may not be so. We just don't know. So, leaving that as it is, what has happened, and we need to move forward. And it's easier said than done. Okay, let us not, make it like it's something simple. It's going to be a complex process. But I remember having a conversation with someone, and they were telling me how, what did we do as a people to gain the rights to the land. And, you know, they proceeded to tell me that normally in these things, you have to fight war. Yeah? And who did we war with? And then it dawned on me. I was listening to you know, something that Saeed Bernard was saying on Nationwide yesterday. Many people look at our freedom in Jamaica as if though this freedom occurred in 1962. But the reality is that this freedom occurred from the time Sam Sharp said, no more of this. And we took the war to the British, willing to burn it to the ground unless we be free. And we did gain our freedom without, of course, receiving the spoils of war. The land that we were supposed to have now possessed, we didn't. And they basically cheated us out of our win. And we went on a whole nother, what's that? From the abolition of slavery, 1834, 34. And then I think there was a grace period. So it took it to 1838. And then if you think about it, 1834 to 1962 would have given us something in the region of about 166 years. So, you know, we did fight for ours, but they didn't just get up and leave. When they saw that we meant business and that we were not going to tolerate this slavery business anymore, at least, you know, there are those who rose up in the ranks. Because typically, you know, there's all those people who go along to get along. But as always, there are those who rise up out of the generations that say, this is nonsense, man. Can't keep this up. Am I not a man too? Do I not live and breathe? And in our daily lives, we see it. Supervisors and managers and people who, you know, just supposed to guide the flow of work, seeing that work seems to be something that we have to do down here. Some of them get all up in their feelings, you know, and want to behave like Lord and Master, dictating, you know. Not bad enough that you have a set time you must come to work, set time to leave, set time to eat lunch, and all them things. But some take it a little bit too far. Feel like they can talk to you any way. just because they cheated you of the opportunity to be your own person by rules and regulations that they make. In fact, every man, woman, and child need to get an acre of land, man. Every man, woman, and child need to get an acre of land. So if it's a family of 5, them need to get 5 acres. A family of 10 need to get 10 acres. And it's about time we get around to this thing where people are able to live their life according to their terms. And some of these things that we're trying to do, we realize how easily these things can be uprooted. Because look at the tourism sector right now. Montego Bay being the hub of tourism, major tourism activity in Jamaica, has taken a beating. Now, I am getting some other words that it is possible that there's been a bit more resilience than previously anticipated. I was watching on Thrap. He was putting out some updates, and it appears that Negril has not been, well, at least the hotel properties have not been as badly affected as initially suggested. And so the economic engine of tourism may have only hit a bump in the road. It is the part that is going to be challenging is going to be the people who work in the tourism industry. And it will be a matter of how well those hotels make allowance and prep and accommodation for their workers. So that will, you know, because that is a tough thing to work in all of this luxury and then go home to your dark place, waterless place, you know, your what appears to be a war zone. So we'll see how they step up to help out the workers. I know it sounds like a hop, skipping, and jumping, but you know, this is how it is sometimes. There's so many things to that come through the mind in these hours of, you know, when we're thinking and expressing our views. And this is how I express it. But we need to get back on the table this business of every man, woman, and child in Jamaica having their acre of land. And once you have been allotted your acre, what you decide to do with it, this is going to be a one-off thing, right? Every man, woman, and child on the register of Jamaicans. It's not hard information to gather. We have registrar of births, We have passport information. We have TRN information. We can get out the number, and we need to assign that 1 acre to every Jamaican. And there's nowhere in Jamaica that is not land that you can grow something on. There are methodologies that exist to grow stuff. We have no ridiculous rules about raising animals, except for a few one-off places, a few gated communities. But other than that, yeah, we need to push this thing about the land. Because after a war, the victor normally gets the spoils. And made no bones about it. When we took the war to them to end slavery, we were the victors. What they denied us was the land. And I don't think it's because we didn't recognize the value of the land. I believe we might have thought to ourselves that, listen, freedom was paramount to end the slavery. The land we can get later. In hindsight, we should have gotten the land immediately. Now, on the flip side, if you look at Haiti, they were the first nation to be freed after they took the war to the French. It appears that they got the land, but the land was not divided in a fair way. And so a lot of people ended up without anything. Not to mention, the French decided to exact payment, that they needed payment from Haiti for the freedom that they fought for and won. Once again, the trickery. Because if we force you out, how you come to still be dictating to us other terms? Sound like you're doing us a favor. And this favor business has to end. To the winner go the spoils of war. And those were wars that we fought. And every nation that fought that war should be looking for their land. Markie, land you can't carry anything with you, But generational wealth is built by you having something to hand down. And you can't hand down anything if you don't have anything. And this is what we have been cheated of. And this is why we find ourselves in situations where, people have no business being in our country are able to get up and run them out like they have a right. So back to the original thing. We'll be watching the PMP to see how much of this working together, putting hands and hearts together. We're going to watch and see how much of that actually takes place. And to my Jamaican people, there are many who don't expect us to get out of this. But I think